Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another exciting edition of Bees Cast. We drop these episodes for you every single Tuesday, but this is a first. We're announcing that Fieldwork has signed on to be the title sponsor of this very podcast. They're also going to be the exclusive non-alcoholic beer vendor at Oakland Ballers games at Raimondi Park. So tons of fun to come with Fieldwork. I cannot wait to see what the future holds for this partnership. I'm a huge Fieldwork fan, by the way. And yeah, huge news, guys. $3 million raised. We reached $3 million raised in our first and second community investment rounds. It's incredible. They tried to write off Oakland sports. They tried to say Oakland sports is dead. Well, guess what? When you invest in this sports fan community, they invest back in you, and the Ballers are living proof of that, and we're about to drop huge news tomorrow. Huge news. There'll be a press conference and everything. But I don't want to get into that right now. I want to get into this episode with a guy that I've become a huge fan of, Reed Butz. Not just the name. Reed is a guy that whenever we announce a player, whenever we announce a trade, whenever we announce anything, he's the first guy to like that post on Instagram, send an encouraging comment. Heck, he even sent me a happy birthday message the other day. I mean, what can I say? I like Reed Butz and I cannot lie. So let's get into his conversation with Nevada Cullen on this episode of Bees Cast, sponsored by Fieldwork.
Welcome to Bees Cast. I'm Nevada Cullen, and today we're joined by Ballers left-handed pitcher Reed Butz. Great to have you on Bees Cast, Reed. How you doing today?
Doing great, man. Pumped, super stoked, ready to talk about baseball, talk about the season, a little bit of everything, man.
Yeah, we're so close. At time of recording, less than a month out from opening day. So you're ramping up. I know you've got training today. How long would you say it takes for you to get right for the season? And could you give us a peek into that process for fans who might not know what it takes for a pitcher to prepare, to get ready to get for game action?
Yeah, I think every guy's different. That's the cool thing about baseball, you know. Everyone's going to have a different preparation, different way to get ready. So for me, I started about a little over 2 months ago. So I started getting things ramped up, really worked on I got back in September, back home in Illinois, and just worked on getting size, putting some weight on, you know, being dedicated to the gym. So that took about February, end of February, early March. And then that's when I started ramping up for baseball throwing. So coming into that San Jose game, I hadn't thrown live or thrown to any hitters. So that was really going to be the ultimate test to kind of see where I'm at. So and I couldn't be more proud of how it went. So.
Yeah, there was, as Tyler talked about, we talked about it when the last time we recorded a podcast. The pitchers really didn't look rusty, yourself included. What was that like for you getting the throw against minor league hitters?
Definitely a good test to see where I'm at. You know, that was kind of the plan going in was, you know, I had a month after that season or up until the season to kind of prepare for what that game was going to bring. So to see where I was at was like a little assessment to see, you know, some things I need to work on. So I was really happy with the results, got some good numbers, good results, throwing strikeout guys, get some ground balls, weak contact. So, and then just building off of that, you know, what can I do to improve? How can I be more locked in, or, you know, what are some areas that I could see some significant jumps?
So let's flash back to last season. I want to go back to the off season before last season, because in 2023, you're playing for the Rocky Mountain Vibes, another team in the Pioneer League. But then you get traded. The trade was it was you and a pick in the Florida tryout camp. So there was a little bit of Moneyball going on here. And obviously Rocky Mountain ended up getting a higher pick in the draft in trading you to Oakland. What was it like being traded? So for those that don't know, Tyler Peterson, who's my boss, basically, another broadcaster and also assistant GM for the Ballers, he was in Rocky Mountain before coming to Oakland. And so when he left for the Ballers, was he like, hey Reed, coming with me? what was that process like?
So when I first, you know, at the end of the season, we lost in Ogden, Utah. That was our last playoff series with Rocky Mountain. So Tyler, I had mentioned that he was leaving for a new team in Oakland. So that was really the only thing I had heard about it, and until leading up to the trade. And the trade is very old school style. Just, hey Reed, just letting you know we're moving you to Oakland. So and Tyler was the first guy I spoke to, and he couldn't have been more pumped. So at first, you know, there's a little anxiety, you know, new team, don't know what to expect, don't know the role. It's like moving on from moving on from the team I started with. But knowing Tyler going into that season was really it motivated me. Knowing someone there had my back, and I was just really pumped for the opportunity too. So to kind of realize that they saw value in me and maybe more than the team that I was previously on, and to give me opportunities to perform and do everything that I can do. So I was really excited.
Yeah. I mean, it is incredibly difficult to be playing professional sports in the United States of America, because you never know when you're going to get shipped off to the other side of the country. Fortunately, you're getting traded within the Pioneer League. It's not like, Major League Baseball. You could see, all right, I'm in Colorado, I'm playing with the Rockies. All of a sudden, I'm going to Miami, and
Right.
you got to uproot your entire life and play a few time zones away. So this is a little different, but I'm sure it was still pretty jarring at first to know that, okay, I've got to move. I'm going to Oakland, and this is completely a new place for me. But I mean, at least you did have Tyler there. But I'm sure that was still an adjustment for you, adjusting to life in Oakland.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'm a Chicago kid. I'm used to the cold. Not too familiar with the Bay Area. So coming out there was definitely intimidating. And I drove out there myself. Had my car out there, so that was a 3-day drive across the country to kind of see different parts of the United States, which is really cool. But like I said, getting out there, the team couldn't have been more welcoming. Same with the organization. I think the start of it, we knew what to expect going in. It was something new, and we're learning as we go. So to be on the road for the first 2 weeks was really a good opportunity to kind of learn a lot about each other and get kind of get the awkward talks out of the way and just be really thrown right in the middle of things.
Yeah, I mean, it was a whole new team, whole new set of teammates that you needed to gel with. So you got those 2 weeks on the road, and then obviously you got close with them. But what was it like at the end of the season? These two players no longer on the Ballers this year, but getting to play with your old buddies in Rocky Mountain and Brett Carson, Stephen Wilmer, getting to reunite with those guys after Rocky Mountain.
Yeah, I was super pumped to kind of to know that they were coming out to play with us, and even Kyle Collegiate that came out, one of the
Yeah.
relievers. He ends up being one of my good friends as well. So it was really pumped. When I got wind of it, I kind of broke the news to him a little early, which maybe I shouldn't have done that, but I was super ecstatic to know that they were coming out to play. And even when we went to Rocky Mountain our second week, I got to spend some time with some of my old teammates and get to see those guys again, talk to the coaching staff. So they had nothing but positive things to say. So that was great.
Yeah, and you'll get to play with another former Rocky Mountain guy, as you mentioned him, Kyle Piagic. So a couple
Yeah,
former players for the Vibes now playing for the Ballers still, and that'll be exciting.
absolutely.
So in Colorado Springs, you did not start. You only pitched out of the pen. But last year, you made 10 starts, most notably the 2 starts against NoCo at the end of June. You had, I believe, a season high 6 2/3 against them the first time out in game 1. And then you got 8 Ks the second one. So you're named Pioneer League Pitcher of the Week. You're riding high. How do you get to that point where you make that adjustment from, okay, I'm a bullpen guy. Obviously, I don't really know many pitchers who are young professionals who are like, I really want to be a bullpen guy. I remember talking with Chandler David last year. He's like,
Right.
yeah, when am I going to get my start? And we saw what he did as well, getting the nod. But how are you able to adjust from the bullpen to become one of the Ballers' top rotation options last year?
I think the big thing is just making sure that you're flexible. You're there to play baseball. And you got to be ready for any opportunity that they give you. So I think week to week is just trusting your preparation, trusting what you throw, and everything that you put the work into. That's what you're made for. So in college, I started. So Rocky Mountain was my first time getting used to the pen. So that was kind of the foundation that I had going into that Oakland Baller season. So I had a little bit of taste of both. So then my family likes to say I was the Swiss Army knife of the team. So it was cool. It definitely can put a lot on your mental, especially not knowing how consistent the role will be. But I think just showing up and trusting your preparation every week is the most important thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was a heck of a season for you and the whole pitching staff, and I think there's a lot of excitement going into this season. How excited are you to get to pitch with a lot of the same guys from last year?
That was yeah, seeing how many returners we had coming back and a lot of them being the staff guys. I think that was pitchers are their own creatures. A lot of people like to say. So to know a lot of the same guys are coming back, I think that motivates a lot of us because we already had that chemistry together, and we know what that preparation takes and what the week to week goes. And obviously having our pitching coach too, Jim Dietrich, he's a solid guy. He's great with us, great chemistry. So and then you get to meet new guys that come in and what they bring to the table and how we can customize them to what we do. So all around, I'm super pumped to get back out there on the field.
Yeah. All right. I've got to talk about the elephant in the room here. Your last name. I am one with a weird last name, so I feel qualified to talk to you about this.
Yeah.
Weird first and last name on my part. I'm named after a state. My parents got married in Vegas. The Bees fans might not like the state that I'm attached to, but it's whatever.
Sure.
I was sadly born with it. And then my last name is, Cullen, like the Twilight vampires. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
But you're Reed Butz. This is who you are.
Yeah.
So with that, there's this very specific memory I want to talk about from last season. And I'm gonna share my screen real quick
Sure.
because in late August there was a pitching matchup that a few of us around the organization had long anticipated.
Okay.
And here we go. Reed Butz versus Owen Sharts. This was the matchup, late August, Ballers, Chuckers.
Oh.
Owen Sharts was another one of the top pitchers in the Pioneer League last season. This graphic was made by one Riley Elliott, who you obviously know very well, the former director of baseball analytics for the Ballers. Congrats to Riley. He's now with the Toronto Blue Jays. I wanted to know from your perspective, when did you realize that this pitching matchup could be a possibility or that it was about to happen?
I think it was within like a day or two. I didn't. Someone had mentioned his name to me before, which I thought that was funny, coincidental. But then to be matched up against him was pretty funny, and a lot of people, a lot of the media guys and coaches were giving me a little love and crap for it. So I mean it's amazing. With a name like I have, Reed Butz, you just embrace it. When you're young, you obviously get teased. It's okay. It's a part, builds the tough skin. But I think it makes me, more unique. And then to kind of see the ad that they put out too for me is pretty funny too, to protect your butts. So I mean, you just enjoy it because there's all love out of it at this point.
Hey, with your pitching, you've certainly put butts in seats. I know that the team's leaned into that joke a few times, but it's true.
Absolutely.
So did your family comment at all? Were they watching this game in particular, and they were like, "LOL"? Like, what was their reaction to it, if anything at all?
I think my mom thought it was pretty funny. I don't know if my dad really knew anything about it, but both my parents came out to watch me play. It wasn't for this game, but my mom came out to watch me play against YOLO. My dad came out to Rocky Mountain, got to spend a couple days out there with him. So I think they plan on doing the same thing again. I know we're in Rocky Mountain for the 4th of July, and that's usually a big time game for Rocky Mountain. They usually have a sold out crowd. So I'm super pumped for that. And then we got some family in the Sacramento area, my mom's side. So she's going to come out and fly out and see them. So yeah, I think it's super cool to have them come out and be able to see me play. Senior year of college was a big one for me. We got to go to the NAIA opening rounds. So they got to fly out to Lewiston, and just the experience for them too. They get to see me play. They get this connection to the team. They just fall in love with it. And I think that's kind of the same thing this year is they like a lot of the guys from the team. They love Tyler Lozano. Shout out to my boy. So it's super exciting. I'm pumped for them too, just as much as I am.
That's awesome. I'm glad it's always a great time when the family members get to come out and watch y'all play. All right. Not to beat a dead horse here, but I do have a clip specifically. Do you remember anything about this game? Because the Butz versus Sharts game obviously was funny from that perspective, but you actually pitched really well. Do you remember how many strikeouts you had?
I don't. I'm gonna say like 6 or 8.
You struck out 9. That was your season best. You were really well. And I do have a clip from the game that I'd like to share.
Let's hear it.
Don't believe you've seen it before, but it was me on the broadcast. So you'll have to tell me your thoughts. I'm going to take a second right here to pull it up.
Sure.
And let's see. There we are. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Apologies to anyone on the listening side of things. They're probably like, all right, come on, let's get to the point right here. All right. So here we go. This
This
is
was in Idaho Falls, right?
this was at home
Oh, at
again.
home.
So I am going to roll clip.
This is Butz's 50th pitch. Payoff. Right down center. Strike three call. Reed Butz with 6 straight Ks. He's got 7 on the day. Reed Butz, much like toilet paper, is on a roll. Let's head to the bottom of the third. 1-0 Ballers over the.
So I don't know if you could hear it there.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Tyler Peterson, you could kind of hear him like spit laugh into the mic because he could not contain it. I completely blindsided him as well.
That's fantastic. I got to give that to you, man. I've never heard that. That's hilarious. That couldn't have been more fitting, honestly. That's the perfect time for that joke. That's hilarious.
It was too good. The occasion was right for it.
Absolutely. You had that one saved up. I respect that.
I did. It's definitely one of my everything else that I like collect. I clip audio, obviously, is for my like professional reels and stuff. This I clipped for my own personal just enjoyment.
Absolutely. That's awesome. I love
Yeah.
that.
The point being from it is a great game for you. 9 strikeouts against one of the top pitchers in the league. So credit to you.
Thank you.
One last point I want to hit, again, talking to Reed Butz, Oakland Ballers, southpaw, left-handed pitcher. You're from the Midwest, and I wanted to hit on that for a second. First and foremost, you're a Rockford native, if I'm not mistaken, Rockford, Illinois.
Yes, sir.
Which is close to Chicago and Milwaukee. How do you become a Twins fan then?
Oh man, that's a good question. So my mom's from the upper part of North Dakota. So a lot of they don't have any professional sports teams.
No.
So they cling on to anything Minnesota. So at an early age, my mom was a big purple and yellow fan, big Adrian Peterson fan growing up. So when I saw that, I just baseball. I never really was a Cubs fan, or I wasn't opposed to him, and I just really loved Joe Mauer and Johan Santana, some Twins legends. Santana was a lefty, Cy Young winner. He was just a stud at the time. Just a bunch of guys. Joe Mauer. If we want to get a little older, Kirby Puckett. I got a jersey of him. So I think at an early age, my mom kind of some might say brainwashed me with some of those teams. But yeah, it's a tough fan base to fall in love with. But I'm loyal to them.
Yeah, they're really putting you through it right now, but hopefully they can pick it back up and get to where they were a few years ago. My dad actually, so the story is his mom, my dad's mom, dated the manager of the Twins, I believe, way back when, right around the time of like Harmon Killebrew. So some of the, the glory days of the Twins. And he actually got a signed ball by like Harmon Killebrew and several other members of the organization. Whole team had signed it, I think. He lost it because it was in a storage unit, and his nephew, I think, was supposed to be paying the rent on the storage unit or something, and didn't pay it. So my dad had a signed ball from the Twins, and sadly,
oh man, that's devastating.
I know.
That's a picture right there, lost. But that's all right. Someone's got the come up on that right now.
Yeah, and then so you stayed in the Midwest for your summer league action. You actually spent 3 summers in the Northwoods League. For those that don't know, there's the Cape. That's the Primo League. Northwoods is basically number 2. It's really competitive. You played for 3 different teams. First, the Bismarck Larks. The second, the Minnesota Mud Puppies, I believe they were called at the time.
Yep.
Third, the Madison Mallards, which we'll get to in a second. I first want to hit on the Mud Puppies because when I was, spoiler alert, if you didn't know this, I actually worked in the Northwoods League for a summer.
Okay.
The Mud Puppies were a traveling team. So is this the case for you?
Yeah. So a buddy of mine that played out of the Minnesota area, I played against him because my first year was the pod year. So it was the summer after COVID. So we had 3 teams. We played pod, and one of my buddies I met through just the baseball grapevine, he played on one of the opposing teams. So he was on the Mud Puppies the second year, and one day was like, "Hey man, my coach is wondering if you'd want to come pitch tomorrow." So I'm like, "Sure, just tell me where." So I drove like 6 hours to Mankato that next day and ended up pitching like 4 innings. went scoreless and then gave up a walk-off. So I know, talk about but I mean, I got props from the coach, and it's actually Sean Rempe. Forget who
Oh,
it was.
repay.
Yeah. So he's the coach of the Voyagers. So when they came out last year, I saw him and I was like, man, full circle moment for me. So, and he had nothing but positive things to say. So playing for them was it was fun. I mean, we'd come down on a Thursday, we'd travel to wherever we were playing, whether it was we go up to why am I blanking on some teams, but we go play in that regional area of Minnesota, and we'd come back Sunday, and I'd be back home for the week in North Dakota because that's where I was going to school at the time. So I was up there working my summer job, and then on the weekends I was playing Northwoods baseball. So it was a good time. A lot of the cool guys played with them, so a lot of the guys I still keep in touch with as well.
Yes, and then 2022, you played with the Madison Mallards.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess it wasn't an accident. That's the last team you played for in the league, because for my imagination, getting to experience Northwoods League, every player kind of wants to play for Madison, or at least there's something about it. If I were a player, I would want to play for Madison, because I want to know what your experience was like playing in that atmosphere in Madison, because this is a team in the Madison Mallards that, yes, they're a summer collegiate team, but they draw fans. The Duck Pond, Warner Park, the record attendance is north of 10,000. So for those who don't know, that's more than the Sacramento A's are pulling in right now. Like it's a lot of people. So what was your experience playing like there? How did maybe that prepare you for playing in front of big crowds like you do in the Pioneer League, playing in front of some great fans in Oakland?
Yeah, I came off from another summer ball team, and actually the one of the connects that I have, he's the PA announcer for the Tigers now. His name is Zach.
Zach Linfield. Really?
Yeah, Linfield. Yeah, so he was kind of my connect into the Mallards. So when I got in touch with him, he was super pumped to have me there. Shout out Zach, great guy, super pumped for his new job.
Yeah.
So when I got there, it was pretty intense, man. The crowd was amazing. We got to play in some front of big crowds. The competition was insane. Like, I saw a guy throwing 100. We had another guy in our team with the Cardinals.
The guy from Kenosha, was that the?
Yep, Kingfish. Yep. Yeah, from the right. It was insane. He was like 19, 20 years old throwing 100. And I'm like, just starstruck to see that. Another guy, one of our middle infielders, was JJ Weatherholt, who's with the Cardinals right now. So he's another stud. We just had a lot of talent. The fan base was great there. It was close to home. It's only an hour, so it was nice that my parents are coming up every weekend for games. It was a great time, though. I think it definitely helped ease the tension a little with the crowd. But you pray for big moments like that. It makes you feel like a big leaguer, and even if it's just the Pioneer League or if it's just Summer Ball League, it's still that feel, and that's what they want to replicate as best they can.
Yeah, you guys had a great team that year. Josh Caron, I guess he probably would have caught you.
Nebraska catcher. Yeah, he was a stud too.
He was really good. He could rake. And now before we head out of here, big reveal. Does this shirt mean anything to you? I don't know if you ever faced them, but this is the Battle Creek Battle Jacks.
I don't think I ever did. No, but that's a sick shirt.
So we were, I took a trip. That's the team I was working with in 2022 when you were in. So I did a little research, and I don't think we crossed paths. I think you made your debut in July that year, and I think we went to Madison before then. Oh man, I just missed you then. Yeah, we were like ships crossing in the wind. Just didn't quite cross paths. But yeah, so 2022 Northwoods League. What a time to be alive. Honestly, it was a great summer, man. Definitely cutthroat out there for sure. Yeah, and here we are from the Midwest to Oakland. For one more summer in the Bay. So I'm looking forward to seeing you out there, Reed, and best of luck in 2025. Really excited to watch you and the rest of the guys and the staff go throw. Absolutely, we'll be seeing you soon. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for watching, everyone, and listening to Beescast. Be sure to like and subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify or another platform where you can leave it a review, we would love a review, preferably 5 stars. If not, well, pound the 5 stars. It's got to be 5 stars? Yep, got to pound the 5 stars. That's right. All right, we'll talk to you next week. Thanks for watching and listening to Beescast.
Thanks, guys. Reed Butz, all-time great name, all-time good dude, huge fan favorite for the Oakland Ballers. I cannot wait to see his progress this season. He's posting all these videos on social media. Man, he looks like he's really put in the work, and it's going to show on the pitcher's mound. Now, don't forget, like, subscribe, send us some comments, send us some questions about bees or the Oakland Bees. We'll take all of them and we'll answer them for you right here on this podcast. Thank you so much for watching. We'll drop you another episode next week.